my first guitar and then getting lessons where there was the first guitar teacher I had was quite good, really. He was quite an older guy, and well, to me at the time, obviously he was quite older. But I'm thinking back now, he was probably in his 40s or maybe early 50s or something like that. And he was a Scottish fellow, and I thought, I don't really know if this is going to work, but obviously he knows how to play guitar and I don't, so let's just see what happens. And he was really quite good, and he would kind of teach me all the basics and the easy stuff, and then he would ask me what I was interested in, and he'd try and incorporate that a little bit. And
Yeah, yeah.
but he played. I'm not sure what he did for a living, other as his true living aside from guitar teaching. But he played in a band, a Bob Dylan tribute band, and
Oh, nice. I like
yeah,
that.
he was the guitarist, and we went to see them a few times, and they were actually quite good. I mean, it was nothing I was into at the time, but just because of knowing him, we went to see them, and it was quite good. Um, but he moved away for work, and he couldn't do the guitar teaching anymore, so I had to find a different one. And I'd only kind of been with him maybe a couple of years, um, and obviously being sort of quite young, I'd still not sort of picked up too much where I could have sort of carried on learning by myself or anything like that. So we found another one, and he was quite a youngish guy, and all he wanted to teach anyone or talk to anybody about was Green Day, and
Oh, right, right, right.
and I wasn't into Green Day at the time. Um, I've only kind of listened to Green Day going backwards as I've got older, and but he wasn't interested in playing like teaching me anything other than Green Day. There was a bit of Foo Fighters he taught me, and then we just didn't get on that well. And
Yeah.
he'd always turn up late. He used to use the bus to come up like in the evening to come and to give us lessons, and he'd turn up late, and then he'd want to leave on a certain time because he needed to get his bus home, and it was a bit like, yeah, this isn't gonna last. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it gives that feeling when if they don't really, you don't feel like they want to be there, then
yeah,
you kind of start not wanting to be there yourself. Yeah, I totally get that.
yeah. So then we kind of just moved on to like my dad would show me a few bits and pieces of what he knew, but and then obviously getting obviously further on in school when you start doing music lessons and you meet up with like mates. I had a good friend that's through school who I played in bands with, and he was really good at guitar, and his dad was really good and taught him. So I just kind of learnt off him a little bit then, and we just sort of practiced between ourselves. Um, but yeah, that first experience of a guitar teacher, if it's not quite right, it can put people off, can't it? And it can be difficult.
Yeah, it definitely can. But dude, you're like really lucky that your dad at least was willing to teach you guitar. It's marketing at the end of the day. You know, you have
Yeah,
this
yeah,
persona of like, you know, being this enigmatic person, and nobody knew who the weekend was, and that just builds this intrigue around like, you know, who is this? We want to find out, and that goes all the way back. It's not a modern thing. You think of like Robert Johnson in the early 1900s, the famous blues guitarist.
yeah,
You know, allegedly sold his soul to the devil for
yeah,
amazing guitar abilities. In reality, he just spent night after night at a graveyard practicing. But word gets around, and suddenly it's like, oh, Jamie, you got to go check out this guitarist who's playing in town tonight. He sold his soul to the devil. He's
yeah,
so good
yeah,
because he
yeah,
sold his soul to the devil. He's going to hell, all this kind of stuff. And like Jimi Hendrix, you know, like, oh, this dude, like he plays guitar behind his back and his teeth, and then he set
yeah,
fire his guitar and smashed it all up. It's incredible. You got to see this, man.
yeah. You're definitely going to go and watch them type of shows, aren't you? At least just to say they never did it when I was there, or they did do it and it was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And they become more known for like those acts
Yeah,
than their music. You know, you mentioned Jimi Hendrix, and you think about setting your guitar on fire. You mentioned the Who. You're thinking about instruments being smashed up. You
yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
Robert Johnson. You think about doing a deal with the devil,
yeah,
and it's suddenly it's you know it's not about the music. It's about the marketing, really.
yeah,
And
yeah.
people think that
Absolutely.
it's people think that it's a modern gimmicky thing that's come up in the past like 10, 20 years. It's always been around. You know, shops have signs on them. That's marketing.
Yeah, yeah.